What's going on, everybody? Super King Ghidorah here with a long-awaited Dinosaur Diary. I was working on my other parks. I forgot about this. So, moving into our next segment, we finished Deinonychus, and now we finna talk about another noteworthy carnivore of the series. You haven't seen this one since 1993, although it's maintained a well-kept presence in other media like toys and video games like this one. Who could I be talking about? Herrerasaurus. How did y'all know? Today we're gonna be talking about Herrerasaurus, everybody. So let's give it a well-welcome round of applause. Wait, hold on. What? Not Herrerasaurus? Are you sure? No. Oh no. Okay. Today we're gonna be talking about the one, the only Fat Man Killer, Dilophosaurus Wetherilli. Okay. And today's Dinosaur Diary for Dilophosaurus will be brought to you by the lovely island of Isla Nublar, where I've recreated the 1993 film. So let's get into this. It says here that Dilophosaurus means double-crested lizard. Its code name for the park was either Spit or a Dilo. Obviously, as you could tell by the lovely stack of meat over there, it's a carnivore. It had a height of 3 meters, which is 10 feet, a length of 6 meters, which is 20 feet. It also weighed 1 ton, which is roughly about 2,000 pounds. Oh, great. They're hiding in the trees. They got too much forest cover. It could be found in Arizona and China. Wow. In a movie, had an island range of Isla Nublar to Isla Sorna. Strangely enough, I've never seen it on Sorna. It never got to be shown on Sorna, but I think novel-wise it was there. Birth type egg, of course, like most dinosaurs. Movie appearances: Jurassic Park, Jurassic World as a hologram, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom as a taxidermy specimen, embryo and sound only. Which sucked because, man, it was supposed to get a scene in Fallen Kingdom. It was supposed to come out of its movie hiatus, basically. And they cut it again. Dilophosaurus really don't get no love, if you ask me. Its game appearances include Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, Jurassic Park 3 Island Attack, Jurassic Park 3 Builder, Jurassic Park Explorer, Jurassic Park The Game, Jurassic Park Builder, Jurassic World The Game, Jurassic World Alive, pretty good dinosaur there, I might add, and Jurassic World Evolution, which I like to believe is one of its best representations. Theme park appearances include Jurassic Park The Ride in Hollywood and Jurassic Park River Adventure. Let's get into some facts here, shall we? Dilophosaurus was one of the largest carnivorous dinosaurs of the early Jurassic period. It says that Dilophosaurus gets its name from the toothed crest of bone on the top of his head. These were probably used as a display for courtship purposes. It's unlikely that it had a frill like the movie suggests. Like, no fossil record supports that it has these frills right here on the side of his neck. Now, if it did, I'm not gonna lie, that'd be cool. But there's nothing in the fossil record that shows that Dilophosaurus had frills or that it spat venom. Dilophosaurus has been found in both the US and China, which, although part of the same huge landmass, were still quite a long distance from each other. Lets you know how much of a range, I almost said Jurassic, the Dilophosaurus occupied during his reign in the Jurassic. And I'd just like to point out that it's way bigger than the movie here, like, makes it appear to be. Like, these Dilophosauruses are kind of quite small. The Dilophosaurus is actually a really big carnivore. Like, it's supposed to stand taller than your average human. I think equaling Utah Raptor in height, I believe. Don't quote me on that. That's just a rough estimate. It says that as a more primitive predatory dinosaur, Dilophosaurus didn't have forward-facing eyes to give it stereo vision. It may have used scent as an integral part of its hunting technique. It had long and slender rear-curving teeth and long jaws and strong front arms, which would have been effective in grabbing prey. It was fast, probably with a top speed of about 30 miles an hour. It whoa, there you go. It also had a long tail that could have been used as a whip in a fight. You see that? It's a whip in a fight. This tail don't look like it's long enough to be a whip. Well, that's just one of Jurassic Park's and / World's many famous inaccuracies. Anyway. Footprints attributed to Dilophosaurus appear in groups, so it may have hunted in small packs. It shares the same overall body configuration as Coelophysis, even though Dilophosaurus is currently classified as a member of a different group of theropods rather than Coelophysis and its relatives. Shout out to Coelophysis, a dinosaur I wish that could have made it into the game. Okay. Now, as Jurassic Park history says that 17 Dilophosaurs were recreated by InGen in their compound on Isla Sorna, where they were raised by the workers there until a few months had passed, where 5 were transported to the neighboring island of Isla Nublar for InGen's Dinosaur Park. They resided in the Dilophosaurus paddock of the park. The clone Dilophosaurus had very abnormal traits that the original never had. These traits included a frill, venom glands, and a skull that resembled Dromaeosaurus like Deinonychus and InGen's recreation of Velociraptor. There, because it's missing a notch. Like, in the skull of Dilophosaurus, it has a notch, like, towards, like, the front of its, like, jaw, upper jaw. And I think lower jaw too, but I know for sure the upper jaw, it has a notch in it. And that's one of the things that makes Dilophosaurus stand out to me and unique, is that notch, because the notch look cool. It says that the Dilophosaurus clones could spit venom at a range of 6 meters, which is 20 feet, and would aim for the prey's face to stun it before the Dilophosaurus would come in for the kill. It says the frill would expand and rattle when attacking or when preparing to attack. Sounded similar to like a rattlesnake. It'll go like that shit is cool too, by the way. Another reason why I like Dilophosaurus as a kid growing up, because like I said, Jurassic Park influenced me into getting into dinosaurs. And even though that the frill thing on Dilophosaurus was inaccurate, it made me like the dinosaur nonetheless. They were also smaller than their original counterpart. Like all of InGen's theropods, they have pronated wrists. It is likely that Dr. Henry Rue's inclusion of frog DNA or a splicing error that was responsible for the abnormal traits seen in the clone Dilophosaurus. This is the most likely possible, as Dr. Rue noted that Dilophosaurus' genetic structure was compatible with the DNA of Dendrobates leocumelis, a yellow-banded poison dart frog. Wow. Well, we know where it gets its venom from. Now, regarding the Isla Nublar incident of 1993, the endorsement team was meant to see the Dilophosaurus in its paddock during their tour of Jurassic Park, but no Dilophosaurus revealed themselves to the visitors. They were like real shy. They weren't ready for the actual, showcasing. Oh shoot. He coming out the forest if I can just get a hold of him. Come here. Come here, you. Okay, when Dennis Nedry turned off the park security system so he could steal Engine's dinosaur embryos, Dilophosaurus was one of the many dinosaurs that were free to roam the island. One such Dilophosaurus stalked Nedry himself when he was trying to get his vehicle unstuck out of a fallen tree limb. Feeling uneasy, Nedry stopped rope towing his Jeep to face the stalker that was right behind him. Dennis Nedry tried to trick the dangerous dinosaur into fetching a stick for him, but the Dilophosaurus showed little care for the stick outside of the brief sound it made when it hit the forest floor. Dilophosaurus isn't a dog. It doesn't fetch. Well, it doesn't fetch sticks. It'll fetch the flesh off your skin, though. Angered that his trick was unsuccessful, Dennis Nedry jeered the Dilophosaur before running back to his Jeep. However, when he turned back around, the Dilo was there and it popped up his frill before spraying venom at Nedry. It missed and Nedry ran to his vehicle, but before he could get in, another shot by the Dilophosaur hit him straight in the eyes. Poor Dennis managed to get in his vehicle, but he lost the counterfeit shaving cream can that held the dinosaur embryos he stole. One of my other favorite parts in the movie too, because he hit, like he smacked, he just like, man, he got sprayed in the eyes, right? And so he was screaming and shit terror. He turned around, hit his head on a Jeep. Oh, that was one of the best parts of the movie. I think there was more than one Dilophosaur though, because I don't see how that Dilophosaurus got in that Jeep that fast. There had to be more than one. Still the best scene though. When he shut the door, he realized with horror the Dilo was inside and it proceeded to devour him. It is unknown if there were any surviving populations after the Isla Nublar incident of 1993. It might have been wild on Isla Sorna after Hurricane Clarissa struck the island, because Dilophosaurus was among one of the information sheets given to the Indian hunters during the Isla Sorna incident of 1997. And was also a screensaver for one of the computers inside the Fleetwood RV mobile lab that was also used in the same incident. No Dilophosaurs were known to have been held publicly in Jurassic World, nor were they listed on its official website as attractions, but the Innovation Center included it in the holoscape along with Velociraptor, Spinosaurus, and other dinosaurs created by Engine but not kept on display in the park. They probably didn't want it spitting at the guests, so it was probably in the restricted section of the park. Because come Fallen Kingdom, you heard the sound that it made in the scene, so it was on that island, but it was in the restricted section. The glass of the gyrosphere is designed to protect visitors even from them, meaning that it could have been in the park at one point. I think they was preparing to put Dilophosaurus into the park. That's why the gyrosphere was meant to be, to protect guests from Dilophosaurus venom. During the second Isla Nublar incident, the holographic display of the Dilophosaurus was briefly used by Gray Mitchell to distract the Velociraptor Delta, while he, Claire Deering, Owen Grady, and his brother Zach Mitchell escaped the building. Oh, they're all going into the forest. In Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which I feel like I don't have to say spoiler alert anymore. It's been out for a while now, so I'm pretty sure enough people have seen it to this point. While no Dilophosaurs appeared in the film, it has been revealed that there were surviving Dilophosaurus populations on Isla Nublar, but as none were seen being taken in Lockwood Manor, it can be assumed that the species has fallen back into extinction. During the operation to retrieve a bone from the skeleton of the Indominus Rex, Jack was briefly startled by the sound of a Dilophosaurus hooting in the jungle near the mercenaries' Main Street campsite. However, he resumed his work without encountering the dinosaur, likely because the approaching T-Rex scared the smaller predator away. Still wish you could have got a scene. That would have been nice. Like, even if let's say the T-Rex still did what it did in the opening scene of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it'd have been nice that if the Dilophosaurus got the scare first, popped out with his frill, and was probably about to spit, but then T-Rex came and scared it off, or T-Rex comes and you know, grabs it, eats it, and then it could have chased this Jack guy to the helicopter and still grabbing the helicopter, still doing what it did in the opening sequence. That's just me though. That would have been how I would have done it. Okay. In the museum in Lockwood Manor, a taxidermy Dilophosaurus can be seen fighting an also taxidermied brown velociraptor. The Dilophosaurus in the estate is mainly green with red crest and frill. A viable embryo of the Dilophosaurus are also seen being salvaged and in the possession of Mills mercenaries during Malcolm's voiced over final testimony with the committee. Another thing about that, like taxidermy Dilophosaurus, where it looks drastically different from what was shown in the original Jurassic Park and portrayed in the games and other media. So does that mean? So I want to know what does that mean? Like, were these Dilophosaurs that Lockwood had? I don't even want to say hunted. Like, he had them stuffed. Maybe he kept some for himself and had them stuffed or something. I don't know. I really want that to be touched upon. Maybe I can ask Clayton Fioriti to talk about it. I mean, I can suggest it, but it's really up to him if you want to do something like that. But I think that's an interesting subject to touch upon. It says more information was added for the Dilophosaurus in the film, like the fact that the Dilophosaurs in the film were juveniles. Juveniles would hunt in packs, but only the leader was allowed to disable prey. It is unknown if the adults hunted in packs like the younger individuals. So that means these Dilophosaurs that we breed here in our park are juveniles and really don't grow to their full size. Now this one is going to be referring to the game that portrays the events from the original Jurassic Park movie, and it says that Dr. Laura Sorkin believed it was Dr. Henry Wu's inclusion of frog DNA or a splicing error that was responsible for the abnormal traits seen in the clone Dilophosaurs, or at least the juveniles. And now we had to further more information on the game, stating that Nima Cruz, one of the agents hired to retrieve Dennis Nedry's Barbasol can, later scared off the Dilophosaurus that killed him while it was eating his corpse. After she and her colleague Miles Chadwick retrieved the Barbasol can that had gotten lost when Dennis Nedry was disoriented from the venom on his face, another Dilophosaurus attacked Miles. Reacting to the toxin spray in his eyes, Miles pulled out his handgun and began to fire at the dinosaur, successfully scaring it off. But it soon returned with its pack to finish what it had started. Once Neiman repaired the Jeep, they initiated their attack. The two humans attempted to flee, but were cornered by the Dilophosaurus. Not long after their decision... Wait, hold on. It says the two humans attempted to flee, but were cornered by the Dilophosaurus not long after their decision. Oh, to fix the Jeep. Okay. I confused myself. I ain't gonna lie with how I read that. Miles started firing his pistol before Nima told him not to, saying that he didn't want to waste his bullets because there were too many Dilophosaurs. Instead, she suggested that they should try to distract the Dilophosaurus pack. Miles agreed, then shoved Nima to the ground and ran for it, hoping that they would attack her. However, the Dilophosauruses attacked Miles despite the circumstances, devouring him while Nima escaped in Nedry's Jeep, or tried to, really. It says that one pursued her while she was running to the staff vehicle and attempted to pounce on her, but was pushed aside by Nima when it did so. Once she had reached the vehicle, Nima dodged toxic spit from another Dilophosaurus that had encountered her at the start of the offensive. that was on top of the Jeep, and then another Dilophosaurus ran straight at Cruz only to receive a car door to the face. Kaboom! It says that a Dilophosaurus that was behind the individual was hit by the car door, proceeded to spit at Nemo while she was inside the automobile, but she shielded herself from the venom by slamming the Jeep's door. The rest of the pack began to surround the vehicle, with one jumping into the Jeep's hood trying to shatter the windshield even after Nemo cranked the vehicle and was driving away. This Dilophosaurus was later flung off by the movements of the Jeep and was hit by afterward. The pack finally got another chance at killing Cruz when she crashed her recently acquired vehicle on a tree after her brief problem with the Dilophosaurus on her vehicle's roof, leaving her to continue on foot. A Dilophosaurus pounced on Cruz and the two had a struggle. However, to the dismay of the Dilophosaurus pack, they had to end their pursuit of Cruz because of the arrival of the dangerous Troodon pack. And in that game, I believe it was called Troodon Pectinodon instead of Troodon formosus. Says that the next day, Billy Yoder, a mercenary hired by Engine to rescue any survivors of the Isla Nublar incident in 1993, had a skirmish with a Dilophosaurus while he was exploring one of the Isla Nublar's jungles with fellow mercenary Oscar Morales. The two heard the Dilophosaurus upon entering the jungle, but it didn't choose to strike Billy Yoder until he had accidentally stepped on an egg that was inside a nearby nest, which could have belonged to the attacking dinosaur. Billy dodged the Dilophosaurus projectile attack right before it pounced on him, which in turn caused him to lose his assault rifle. Oh, hold on, let me just replenish these speeders real fast so they don't starve. Billy broke free of the Dilophosaurus' grasp and dodged multiple attacks from it, but at the end of the fight, the Dilophosaur pinned him to the ground again after he went to retrieve his rifle. Though before the conflict could continue further, Oscar Morales intervened by kicking the Dilophosaur off of Yoda very hard. Oscar wanted to kill the dinosaur, but Billy told him not to, saying that wasn't much of a threat now after it was hurt. The Dilo then ran off while Billy Yoda was stating his reasons not to kill it. Yeah, see? Now we're going to head into, I believe, some trivia. And it says that in the movie, Dilophosaurus had a green color with dark markings, and its frill was bright yellow with red patterns. But in Jurassic Park the game, it was a gray color with red markings, and its frill is gray as well with a red circular line. It says the Dilophosaurus is first seen during the park drive near the river. They see one animal drinking from the river. It's 10-foot tall carnivore with a heavy tail, strong hind limbs, and a long neck. Its crest make a V shape above the animal's head. I think this is for the novel. I think that's what this is referring to. Look at them chase the Jeep. Yeah, they pretty much flying around a Jeep. They could pretty much spit at the Jeep and hit those people. Those used to be like fail-safe glass, you know? At least that's what I think. Oh, they finna have a meeting. About these humans that keep coming in their paddock and mysteriously resupplying their feed. It says that the crests are red and have black stripes, like a parrot or a toucan, with one sex, maybe male, having darker crest than the other. Its body is covered with yellow and black spots like a leopard with a light green belly. It has a hooting that sounds like an owl. Like an owl? I guess. The Dilophosaurus clones are able to spit venom at a range of 15 meters, which is 50 feet. A lot more impressive than the movie canon ones that can only spit 20 feet. Now those are really dangerous. Also, one gender was smaller than the other. Their toxin contains 7 different enzymes. It says that after spitting at a handler, Jurassic Park staff did an investigation on their toxic spit. They also tried to remove the poison sacs, but it proved little success because they could not find them, nor did they know where they were placed without doing an autopsy, which park staff wouldn't allow due to the cost of creating new dinosaurs, right? Like, shoot, the genetic, like, I don't even say this, a base, does it have a price for the base Dilophosaurus right here? How much these things cost to make? No? And I know these things are expensive, almost $1 million. If I'm remembering correctly. Nedry's death. Okay, yeah, this is a novel. It says in the chapter Nedry, Dennis Nedry is on his way to smuggle dinosaur embryos out of the park. He has taken a wrong turn, and instead of the sea, he has reached a river near the Dilophosaurus territory. When Nedry tries to get back to his car, he hears a hooting noise. Then he is confronted by the large and dangerous Dilophosaurus. Dennis is first blinded, then his gut is ripped open, and finally the creature puts his jaws around his head. Wow. Nedry's body is later found by Muldoon and Gennaro, with Muldoon remarking, "They blinded him, then ripped him down the middle." Not a nice way to go. Maybe there's justice in this world after all. The river adventure. It says because no frog DNA was used to clone the Dilophosaurus, they don't reproduce in the first novel. However, in the first novel, Grant sees a couple of Dilophosaurs, both male and female, at the river, which were performing a mating ritual. This seeming contradiction is never explained. They were getting ready to port. It said they don't reproduce in the first novel because they didn't have the frog DNA. Like in the movie, they had the frog DNA, so that's what allowed them to change sex from female to male. That way they could reproduce. But in the novel, there was already male and female, so they had to go through courtship statuses to reproduce and make more members, like they would in the wild. That's my explanation for it. In the end, it says, in the chapter Under Control, it is revealed that 3 Dilophosaurs have died during the park incident. They might have been hunted and killed by the raptors or the tyrannosaurs after they escaped. All the Dilophosaurs are killed during the Costa Rica napalm bombing, which was supposed to happen at the end of Jurassic Park, but they opted for a different ending, which was what allowed the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom to happen. I think that's actually a better way for it to go too. It says the Lost World. It says all of the games used the juvenile Dilophosaurus seen in the first film to depict adult Dilophosaurus. Okay, for the NES game, it says Dilophosaurus appeared in the NES game Jurassic Park. It jumps from behind trees, objects, walls, and spits poison. In the Super Nintendo version, spitting Dilophosaurs are an enemy in the game Jurassic Park. Their spit doesn't cause a lot of damage and they can be easily killed. The creature is seen in more detail inside buildings. In the Sega Genesis game, Dilophosaurs are an enemy in the Sega video game Jurassic Park, which I had the pleasure of playing right there. Good times. Jurassic Park Interactive. Spitters are an enemy in the game. Jurassic Park arcade game. Dilophosaurs are encountered in Area 1 and 4 of the arcade game Jurassic Park. On Chaos Island, spitters appear. They are the only dinosaurs in the game with a ranged attack. In the Lost World Jurassic Park arcade game, a few spitters are encountered in the stage 1 of the arcade game, The Lost World Jurassic Park. Dinosaur battles. Oh, that's Scan Command. I know what a Scan Command, but I think it's officially called Dinosaur Battles. But when it was advertised, it was called Jurassic Park Scan Command. In the PC game Jurassic Park Dinosaur Battles, Dilophosaurus is an opponent. It is a fast opponent, and advanced Dilophosaurs have strong piercing attacks. The Dilophosaurus cannot be obtained in the game as with the Gallimimus, which is sad. I was really hoping to have a Dilophosaurus on the team. And they should have just let you been able to get any type of dinosaur. I mean, no need to exclude them. In Jurassic Park 3 Island Attack, it says Dilophosaurus is encountered as an enemy, is in the level The Laboratory. The player has to defeat a pack of Dilophosaurus in a boss fight. In Jurassic Park 3 Park Builder, the creature is number 8 of the carnivore tools that can be created in Jurassic Park 3's Park Builder. In the Jurassic Park 3 The DNA Factor, Dilophosaurus is one of the 12 encountered dinosaurs on Isla Sorna. In Jurassic Park 3 The arcade game, Dilophosaurus appears in areas 1 and 4. I guess as a nod to his first appearance in the first arcade game. In Jurassic Park Explorer, Dilophosaurus is featured in the DVD game. A player earns a dinosaur when he or she wins a mini game. The video shows that the animal is 7 meters, 23 feet long as it was in reality, but it still has the neck frill. Of course, it has to maintain its Jurassic Park origins. Now for Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. It says that Dilophosaurus appears as a 2-star small carnivore. The game's Dilophosaurus shares all of the characteristics of the one in the movie, from the frill to the small stature. It can spit venom at prey, but does not. However, it spits venom at the visitors. Despite the spaces between the bars on the fence, if not in the fence though, they can hunt visitors as well as cleaners. Even though the cleaners will most likely never be killed by the dinosaurs, no matter how many times they've been hit by the venom. This is most likely a gameplay error, or the cleaners are wearing venom-proof clothing. It says that it can spit venom at prey, but it does not. I've seen them spit venom at the cows and stuff when they hunt. It says that the Dilophosaurus, the weakest of the small carnivores, will only attack and kill small herbivores such as Dryosaurus, Homalocephali, and Gallimimus, and is unable to take down large or armored small herbivores. They can be placed along with Velociraptor in one enclosure as long as they are not rampaging. They can even be placed with non-aggressive herbivores such as a Montosaurus. Meaning if you put them in there with Triceratops is going to run them down. It says that in Jurassic Park Builder, Dilophosaurus is one of the available dinosaurs in the iOS application. It should be noted that when it is young, it sounds like a raptor, and when adult, its sound is that of a T-Rex. Woo, sorry. In Lego Jurassic World, Dilophosaurus appears. It is one of the 20 playable dinosaurs in the game and is among the first carnivorous dinosaurs that can be unlocked for free play, as its amber brick is the earliest one that can be obtained in the Jurassic Park section that contains the DNA of a carnivorous dinosaur. Its special ability is being able to spit its iconic venom, making them the only dinosaur in the game that can naturally use ranged attacks. Though dinosaurs can be customized with a Dilophosaurus head to grant them this ability, their acidic spit can also be used to destroy black-colored Lego bricks. Due to their size, the Dilophosaurus can be accessed through the character selection in free play once the amber brick is obtained, as well as via dino spawners. The species amber brick can be obtained during the Jurassic Park T-Rex chase level, and its skeleton can be unlocked by collecting all 10 mini kits in the Park Shutdown chapter, which is the T-Rex enclosure, Rescue Timmy, and T-Rex chase. It says that Dilophosaurus also appears as regular enemies, with some of them being smaller than the playable ones. Several Dilophosaurus can also be encountered in the Dilophosaur paddock and will only attack if it is the player. Hold on, that's a typo. It says several Dilophosaurus can also be encountered in Dilophosaur paddock and will only attack if attacked be the player. I don't get what it's trying to say. Like, kissy kissies. So I'm gonna just emphasize off of that, and basically it's saying that maybe they'll attack if you attack them first. I don't know, or maybe it just attacks the player. I don't know. But moving on, it says a park employee inside of their pen will mention getting spit on by them, and humorously reveals that it was sticky and his feet got stuck together and had to jump around the entire day. Another employee will mention that he doesn't want to get spit on as the laundry on the island is expensive. These comments indicate that in the universe of Lego Jurassic World, their spit is not poisonous, though it is acidic enough to break down black Lego objects. Like the film, the Dilophosaurus spits at Nedry and follows him into the car, though it doesn't eat him as Nedry manages to stuff one of his chicken legs in the Dilophosaurus' mouth and flees from the vehicle, though he leaves the barbasol can in the vehicle, which is knocked out as the Dilophosaurus struggles with the chicken leg in his mouth. Later on, when Lex is rebooting the park systems, Nedry can be seen trying to avoid the Dilophosaur that is searching for him. Interestingly, in free mode, the Dilophosaurus acid spit is required to remove a black Lego rock covering dirt where the barbasol can is buried, allowing it to be dug up and reassembled to receive a gold brick. Ooh, nice. In the same area, a photo of Nedry and the Dilophosaur can be taken to receive a gold brick as well. In Jurassic World, the game, Dilophosaurus is a dinosaur you put in the park. Dilophosaurus is unlocked at Battle Arena Stage 33 and costs 690 DNA when unlocked. It's a rare type dinosaur and good. It's good for early starts. It's when you start easing into your rare dinosaurs, it's the best dinosaur to have, honestly. It was my go-to alongside Allosaurus and Carnotaurus. In Jurassic Park Arcade, Dilophosaurus appears as one of the featured dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park game by Raw Thrills. Jurassic World Alive is in the mobile app. A good dinosaur, as I said earlier. Real good dinosaur. Actually, I have a level 10 common, and I'm working on a rare, as I don't really get a chance to use the app, but when I do, I have fun. In Jurassic World Evolution, it says Dilophosaurus was confirmed to appear in Jurassic World Evolution. Its design is based off the Jurassic Park variants. The size of the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic World Evolution is closer to the size of the real creature than Jurassic Park's Dilophosaurus. Okay, so I have to recant my earlier statement of saying that these are juveniles. So it would be more accurate to say that these might be sub-adults then, as they're closer to their original size but not quite fully grown, because they are bigger than they are big, as some of the human guess, and I think maybe a little bit bigger. I have to let one loose to find out and all that, but when they showed the Dilophosaurus species profile, it was shown to be noticeably bigger. So yeah, it's bigger, but if it says right here, it's closer to its original size, but they didn't say it was its original size. So that means that the Dilophosaurus here are most likely subadults. Okay, wow. It has a very impressive toy line. Like I said, Dilophosaurus appeared in media, even though it couldn't, keep its movie appearances. It says that 3 toys for Dilophosaurus were made for the Jurassic Park Series 1. One was able to squirt water out of his mouth to simulate venom. Another, called the Electronic Dilophosaurus, was produced that had a removable frill and was able to roar upon attacking. A Dilophosaur figure was also included with the Bush Devil Tracker vehicle. And die-cast figure of Dilophosaurus was packaged with a die-cast Stegosaurus in the die-cast Jurassic Park toy line. Jurassic Park Series 2 says that a repaint of the Dilophosaurus that was able to squirt water with capture gear appeared in the Park Series 2 toy line, Lost Series World 1. Another repaint of the water squirting Dilophosaurus figure from Jurassic Park Series 1 appeared in the Lost World Series 1. The figure also came with a repaint of the capture gear included with the Jurassic Park Series 2. Chaos Effect. Dilophosaurus did not appear in the toy line Jurassic Park Chaos Effect, though a genetic hybrid between it and Spinosaurus called Dilophospinus was part of the lineup. That sounds cool. In Chaos Effect Night Hunter, Dilophosaurus was going to appear in the unreleased Chaos Effect Night Hunter toy line. This was unreleased. This unreleased toy was to come with Carter, a dirt bike, and captive gear. Jurassic Park 3 Hasbro. A Dilophosaurus figure was released as a part of the Hasbro's toy line. Jurassic Park Jr. Dilophosaurus was packaged with an Ankylosaurus and a park worker in the Jurassic Park Jr. toy line. Camo Extreme. It says a Dilophosaurus is made for that toy line. Jurassic Park 2011. A Dilophosaurus figure was going to be in the Jurassic Park 2011 toy line, packaged with a Stegosaurus, but was ultimately canceled. There is a possibility of it being released in a future toy line, however. In Jurassic World, a figure of Dilophosaurus will appear in the Jurassic World toy line. It is able to fire a venom projectile. Lego Jurassic World. It says a Lego figure of Dilophosaurus appears in the Lego Jurassic World set 75916, Dilophosaurus Ambush. Unlike most toys of this dinosaur, the Lego figure is accurate to the real-life Dilophosaurus in terms of height. Nice. Nice to see some accuracy. In Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, a new figure of Dilophosaurus will be released as part of the toy line for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Like its predecessor made for Jurassic World, this Dilophosaurus will also have a projectile it can shoot out that is meant to represent the dinosaur's venom. The toy line comes in 3 variations: a gray version, a blue version, and a green version. A leaked image also shows the Dilophosaurus toy similar in color to the model seen in leaked photos of the film that can suck up and squirt out water to represent its spitting venom. Nice, real nice. Unlike the other versions, this Dilophosaurus figure has not been seen in any official image as of yet. In Lego Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it says that the Dilophosaurus will return and will be repainted for the Lego line based on the 5th film. It will be featured in set 75931, Dilophosaurus Outpost Attack. And miscellaneous, this is some pictures. It says that in Jurassic Park The Ride, a number of Dilophosaurus can be seen. The first one that appears in the ride feasting on the dead remains of passengers of a boat that had gone into despair in the raptor containment area. It says that a group of Dilophosaurus, 2 in the Hollywood version, 3 in the Universal Studios Orlando version, spit at the visitors as they go into the water treatment facility. In the Halloween event Project Evolution, a scientist named Dr. Burton accidentally creates human Dilophosaurus hybrids. When visitors encounter them, the hybrids want to eat them. At the end of the Project Evolution ride, they hang their creator. Wow. And it's for his last touch is it's behind the scenes, which I always love, because now we get some in-depth information about this, dinosaur that we really want to see back in the movies. As far as we know, it has one more film to try to make an appearance. I would love to see Dilophosaurus make a resurgence. And for this behind the scenes, it says that Dilophosaurus, along with Proconsignathus and Troodon, are the only known venomous dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park franchise. Dilophosaurus lived during the early Jurassic period before mosquitoes are currently confirmed by the fossil record to exist. If Jurassic Park was able to find any viable DNA specimens, there would have been very little to go on. This would mean that there would be more gaps than normal in the DNA sequence. Subsequently filled by more frog DNA, this could explain why the Dilophosaurs are so different from their prehistoric counterparts, far more so than other dinosaurs, which is really true. The movie's Dilo was also sized down to prevent confusion with the raptors. Because of his minor role, the filmmakers were able to not fully follow the storyboards involving the Dilo completely. Similarly, Shane Mahan, head of the Stan Winston studio team who created the Dilophosaur, went ahead and created a full-size animatronic without making a full-size maquette. His reasons being that he was confident that his team did not require a full maquette to recreate it, and because he wanted to get right into the actual character. The Stan Winston studio team, responsible for the creation of the Dilophosaur animatronic, analyzed frame by frame a documentary featuring an ostrich, which they used to create the hopping gait of his animatronic. Initially, a cam-operated mechanism was created for one of his legs to follow the gait of an ostrich before a different mechanism was chosen. This later mechanism were rods coming out of its feet, going beneath the floor, and operated by a puppeteer. Ooh. Inspired by the Steadicam, Rick Gallinson created the concept for its neck. Each spring in the neck and head were sprung differently, with each spring being heavier from the head to the body, providing realistic movements. This This head mechanism had originally been proposed for the Raptor, but Stan Winston Studios was not convinced that it would work and had an animal that it would work on an animal that large. So the Steadicam mechanism was transferred to the Dilophosaurus. After the mechanism was crafted, wow, or was it crated? It's so many like typos and stuff. That's why it sounds like I'm messing up, but now I'm reading a whole bunch of typos, so please bear with me. It says, after the mechanism was crafted, that's why I'm assuming it's saying crafted, Stan Winston was impressed by what Gallinson had done and applied it to the animatronic of the Velociraptor's head and neck. Scrapping an alternate design of the Raptor animatronic, the animatronic had 3 interchangeable heads, the frill in a lower position, mechanized to allow the frill to open, and lastly the frill open and able to rattle, as well as the ability to spit. The frill itself was a sheet of latex rubber glued onto some support rods hooked to a pulley. When activated, it rotated out and forward at the same time as it was coming off the animatronic Dilo's neck. Its ability to spit was a paintball mechanism, with the spit itself being a mixture of KY jelly and food coloring. Nice, real nice. Underneath the tongue of the third head were 2 holes for the tubing that would have high pressure air pumped through them to allow the animatronic the ability to spit. It says the rest of the body, such as the head, tail, and arms, were radio controlled. Cable actuated insert legs were also created to portray the Dilo's hop when it initially approaches Nedry. The hopping was created by the legs suspended from the stage catwalks on bungee cords. This is a lot, like, wow, this is really impressive. It says for the filming of Nedry's demise, a trench was built on the set for the path the Dilophosaurus would take, as well as so that Shane Mahan could support and puppeteer the Dilo's legs, while a crane above supported its body, and the rest of the team responsible for its creation radio controlled the other body parts of the animatronic upstairs. Because of the copious amount of water that was to be on the set during shooting, the soundstage used in the filming of the scene had a water tank underneath the set and was supposed to drain into the Los Angeles River, but the drainage system did not function well. This caused water to overflow into the puppeteering area, which led to Mahan being given a riser to stand on just to get at least some of the water off of him. But the water level only got higher. The roaring of the water made it difficult to hear out of his headset, making him unable to hear film crew, which made him rely on video monitors stacked onto some Snapple boxes. But water got so high that the monitor floated away from Mahan and was rising to his chest. However, this was toward the end of filming, and filming of the scene was filmed without Mahan drowning, thankfully. Director Steven Spielberg thought that Dilophosaurus was going to be the easiest practical dinosaur to film in Jurassic Park, but was disappointed by the problems that occurred when filming the scene. The Dilophosaurus and Triceratops are the only dinosaurs to appear in Jurassic Park that did not use CGI, only using animatronics. The sounds of the Dilophosaurus came from various sources. The hooting sounds it made were created from a swan call, while the screeches it made when preparing to spit were created from a mixture of a hawk, howler monkey, and egret that has a raspy call, and sound designer Gary Rydstrom making a croaking sound to give the dinosaur some body and weight. The rattling of its frill was also created from a rattlesnake and a very exotic insect. The Jurassic Park trading card of Dilophosaurus incorrectly states that it is 40 feet in height. If this were the case, that would mean the crested dinosaur would be taller than Spinosaurus and Tyrannosaurus, as well as both its real-life and film counterparts. This seems to have been an error by the publisher, as the card a Dilophosaurus drops by gives a more accurate height of 4 feet for the film's Dilo. The Jurassic Park depiction of Dilophosaurus has been taken up by others. Several other video games such as Paraworld, Jurassic the Hunted, Dinosaur, Ice Age, The Dawn of Dinosaurs. It features Dilophosaurus modeled after the representations in Jurassic Park. In Primal Carnage, Dilophosaurus can spit poison over long distances, but it doesn't have a frill. The Whitest Kids You Know sketch Dinosaur Rap and music video for Trevor Moore's Getting High with Dinosaurs features a Dilophosaurus complete with a short frill. The holographic Dilophosaurus in Jurassic World was the size of Delta the Velociraptor, providing more evidence that the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park was a juvenile. Dilophosaurus was meant to appear proper in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but it was cut from the film. Sadly, right? I know. And that's all we have for Dilophosaurus. And I might say it had a lot. As much as I probably would expect T-Rex to have. That goes to show that while we didn't get to see it out in, appearing in any more films, it still maintained its presence everywhere else, as it is a fan favorite dinosaur of the franchise, and with great reason. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this lengthy Dinosaur Diary, as we haven't had one in a while. This is probably going to be the longest one to date, probably till we get to T-Rex. I'll be having a second one to pop up with this shortly. Stay tuned for more. This is SKG saying peace.